Good morning. Today we're going to go over 1-1 review of solving linear equations. The basic concept to solve linear equations is to isolate the variable by getting rid of parentheses and or fractions using various inverse operations. There are three types of solutions for linear equations. One solution where the variable equals a constant. This would be something like n equals 3. Infinitely many solutions and no solution have the same type of look, so the variable will cancel out on both of them. So for infinitely many, the variable cancels out. And when that happens, you're left with a true statement. Such as 5 equals 5. So anytime a variable cancels out and I have a true statement in the end, you're going to have infinitely many solutions. Or all real numbers. That's what that double bar R is for. You'll have no solution when, again, the variable also cancels out. But instead of a true solution, you are left with a false statement. This would be something like 2 equals 4. Okay. 2 cannot equal 4, therefore it is a false statement. So next we're going to go ahead and solve some equations and see what the process looks like. First things first, whatever is in front of parentheses you want to distribute. So I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to multiply it through. I get 24x plus 4. Same thing over here. I'm going to multiply that negative 2 through. That minus goes along with the 2. So I get negative 10 minus 4x equals negative 86. From here, I'm going to combine like terms. 24x and negative 4x is 20x. Positive 4, negative 10 is negative 6 equals negative 86. From here, we're going to add 6 to both sides. So I get 20x equals negative 80. And finally, divide by 20, so x equals negative 4. Same for B. We're going to first start by distributing. So I get 2n plus 2 minus 4 equals, I'm going to bring down the 8. This time there's no number in front of the parentheses, so I'm going to distribute really in -1 because I'm going to distribute that minus sign. So I get negative 4n minus 2. Over here I'm left with 2n minus 2 equals 6 minus 4n. I'm going to bring my variable to the left. So I'm going to add 4n to both sides. And I'm finally going to add 2 to both sides. From here, I will divide both sides by 6. But remember, we need to reduce any fractions, so the answer is 4/3. If your fraction is not in lowest terms, you do need to remember to reduce, but you can leave it as an improper fraction. So moving on to C, there's nothing to do on the left-hand side, so I'm just going to bring it down. And I'm going to distribute the 3. Again, nothing to combine on the left, so again, I bring it down. Over here, I can combine my m's. So I get 3 equals, or sorry, not equals, 3 plus 5m. Okay, I'm going to subtract 5m from both sides. When I do, I get 18 equals 3. Okay, 18 cannot equal 3. That is a false statement. Therefore, my solution is no solution. Moving on to question D. This is a proportion. Two ratios that are equal to each other is a proportion. So to solve this, we are going to cross multiply. So we have 9 times 3x plus 6 equals 7 times x plus 7. Okay, notice I put parentheses there. You must multiply the 9 by both things on top as well as the 7. So when I do that, I get 27x plus 54 equals 7x plus 49. So from here, we will move the variable to the left. I get 20x plus 54 equals 49. We'll move the numbers to the right. 20x equals -5. Divide both sides by 20. Notice the bigger number is on the bottom. Therefore, when I reduce it, it must stay on the bottom. They're both divisible by 5, so it's -1/5. Or sorry, -1/4 if I divide both of them by 5. This is not the same as having an answer of -4. So on to E. We're going to go ahead and combine on the left. I get 3h plus 20 equals -4 plus 3h plus 24. If I combine on the right, I get 3h plus 20. Notice they're both the same. So I could stop here, or if you didn't realize it, you could keep going. I'm going to subtract 3h from both sides. I get 20 equals 20. That is a true statement. So it is infinitely many solutions. On to the last one in this section. Here, we want to get rid of the fractions. If at all possible, when you're solving equations, get rid of the fractions. It'll make things a little simpler. So what we're going to do is we are going to look for our least common denominator. Our least common denominator is 4. So we are going to multiply everything by 4. Negative 7/4 times 4 is negative 7. 1 times 4 is 4. 1/2 times 4 is 2. Negative 5/4 d plus times 4 is negative 5d. Since I only have one variable and it's on the right hand side, I'm going to move the numbers to the left. First, I'll combine, so I get negative 3 equals 2 minus 5d. Subtract 2. And divide, so d equals 1. So the last thing for this section is we are going to review some geometry topics. So if you will look at 2a, it looks like we have a z in the picture. Okay, anytime you have a z, those are going to be alternate interior angles. Okay, so opposite corners of a z are alternate interior angles. And what we know about alternate interior angles is they are equal or congruent. So I'm going to go ahead and set them equal. I have 6x minus 24 equals 2x plus 16. Subtract 2x. Add 24. And finally divide by 4. I get x equals 10. Going over to B, we have two different things going on. First things first, these two angles are what we call vertical angles. Anytime you have opposite sides of an x, you have vertical angles. And what we know about vertical angles is just like alternate interior angles, they are congruent. So we're going to go ahead and set them equal. So 3x plus 8 equals 5x minus 20. Now you may be asking, why am I solving for x when the question asks me to find y? Well, if I look at the bottom, I have both an x and a y. So I can't solve for y if I don't know what x is. So here we're going to subtract 5x, so I get negative 2x plus 8 equals negative 20. Subtract 8 from both sides. And divide, so x equals 14. So the next thing I need to look at is how is this angle and this angle related. Those two angles together form what we call a linear pair. So a linear pair is simply a pair of angles or two angles that are next to each other that make a straight line, which is where we get the term linear pair. So linear meaning straight line, pair meaning two. So if those are a linear pair, we know that they must equal 180 because all straight lines add up to 180. So I'm going to do 3x plus 8 plus 5x plus 4y equals 180. So from here, we're going to go in. We already know that x equals 14, so we're going to just plug that in. So 3 times 14 plus 8 plus 5 times 14 plus 4y equals 180. I'm going to just put all of that right there in the calculator. And when I do, I get 120 plus 4y equals 180. And I'm running out of room, so I'm going to move it right here. So subtract 120 from both sides. So 4y equals 60. Y equals 15. Okay, on to letter C. You'll notice G is the midpoint of line YZ, and H is the midpoint of YX. Therefore, HG, this line right here, is what we call a mid-segment. And what I know is that the mid-segment equals 1/2 of the parallel side. So in my example, this is the parallel side. So I'm going to have HG equals 1/2 of XZ. Now I'm just going to plug in what I know. So 2x minus 20 equals 1/2 of 3x minus 27. I can either distribute the 1/2 or multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of it. And that may be a little simpler, so I'm going to do that. So I get 4x minus 40 equals 3x minus 27. X minus 40 equals negative 27. So x equals 13. Now I need to go back up to my question, and I realize, well, I don't want to know x. I want to know the length of xz. So I need to go ahead and plug it in. XZ is going to be 3 times 13 minus 27, which is 12. Okay, last one for today talks about the angles of a triangle. Let's remember all 3 angles of a triangle must add up to 180. So I'm going to say 39 plus 5x plus 7 plus 9x minus 6 equals 180. Okay, we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. I end up with 14x plus 40 equals 180. So 14x equals 140. X equals 10. Now, since I know what x is, I can figure out what each of the angles are. So angle B, 5 times 10 plus 7, that's 57. Down here, I have 9 times 10 minus 6, that's 84. So I want to know which side is the smallest, so I need to find the smallest angle. The smallest angle is A, so the smallest side is BC, or we can name it with lowercase a. Because the smallest side is always across from the smallest angle. Okay, if you have any questions, please email me and let me know. And I will see you guys tomorrow.